Yo, what is going on, Guardians, and welcome back to another Destiny 2 gameplay video. Hey, in this video, I absolutely have to show you how insanely good Huckleberry is after the recent changes to SMGs. I literally had never finished the catalyst on the Huckleberry, just out of sheer laziness, honestly, until this week. And when I did, I was absolutely floored by how disgustingly good this weapon is. I mean, I'm kicking myself for not having picked it up sooner. Truthfully, I was always pretty underwhelmed by this weapon in PvP in the previous seasons, so when people told me it's really good now, I had my doubts. But this gameplay, it tells a different story. Before we dive in too deep to the gameplay talk, though, we need to first talk about who won that PS5. I pulled that giveaway this past weekend, but I didn't get a video up because I was recovering from a little surgery I had on Friday. But I'm back in the saddle now, so congrats to Cross, who won the giveaway. And thanks to everyone who entered. I was actually able to follow up on some of those comments and even watch some new content creators who I didn't know before. I enjoyed Abby Hour's content. You know, lots of people shouted her out. I honestly was not familiar with her content, so feel free to go check her channel out here on YouTube for some informative Destiny videos. So, the Huckleberry. It's a multi-kill machine, guys. It is. If you're unfamiliar with this weapon, it has a perk called Ride the Bull, which makes it so that the weapon is like a little handheld sweet business, right? And it increases its rate of fire the longer you hold the trigger down. And kills with this weapon reload some of the magazine for you. The catalyst makes it, and maybe it takes that to a further degree. It makes it so that every kill automatically completely refills the magazine to 30 rounds. So the weapon also has Rampage, so it's just a multi-kill monster, right? The chaining that you'll see in this video shows that pretty clearly. There are so many encounters that I would not have survived if not for the magazine refilling itself and Rampage giving me additional damage. This game constantly puts you in situations where where slowing down to reload is basically a death sentence, right? You can get overrun like very quickly in Destiny PvP. But this weapon seems like it was designed specifically to help aggressive players deal with the inevitable aggro that they're going to receive while playing up close and personal with an SMG. And I really grew to appreciate that about this weapon as a player that constantly plays up close and personal. And I'm predominantly a double primary player these days, so having a weapon that feels like it honors that playstyle well, that's a real blessing. It's tough, right? It's tough out there in the Crucible right now for people not running a one-hit kill weapon in their build. You have to rely a lot more on your positioning to help you win engagements, and mistakes are a lot more costly when you can't quick draw to a shotgun that one bangs at great ranges, right? The Huckleberry really feels like it tries to make up for that, with some great kill chaining potential and rewards kills with a full magazine and extra damage for a few seconds. And if you really wanted to get crazy with it, you can do a charge with light build to ramp up your output even more, right? I really like this SMG buff, by the way. I mean, so many people, they think in terms of damage when they're thinking about buffs and nerfs. All they think about is damage. And there's a lot more you can do to a weapon besides ramp up its damage or take damage away. But this buff targeted the stupidly high screen shake when using SMGs, and it toned it down so that you can take out a lot of the visible sort of RNG to your gunfights. And if you're an accurate shooter, hey, you get rewarded. I love that change. Now, I had started my gaming session by using the Dune Marchers with the Huckleberry, and it worked pretty dang well. I had lots of multi-kills with the punches since I was always up close and personal with the SMG. And I'm using the bottom tree striker with knockout, which is an S-tier melee ability in my opinion. So I would definitely recommend Dune Marchers. It was a very lucrative pairing. But a few different people in chat brought up the Peacekeepers and encouraged me to give them a shot with Huckleberry, and I'm glad that they did. I really underestimated their utility and ended up not taking them off for several hours. I hate reloading weapons. I do. I hate slowing down my gameplay and reloading weapons. And holstering the SMG and just moving forward into my next fight and letting the Peacekeepers reload the weapon while it was holstered, that was super convenient. But it goes beyond that, right? On top of that, you can ready the SMG instantly with Peacekeepers, and it also gives you a massive mobility buff. I want to talk about that for a second. There's a lot about the Peacekeepers that I did not know. There's a lot about the Peacekeepers I was not aware of, okay? The perk descriptions in Destiny are notoriously vague as heck. Luckily, Slick, another content creator who loves off-meta stuff, he filled me in on the details of the passive buffs Peacekeepers offer. He told me that when you have an SMG as your equipped weapon, you get plus 50 mobility. Are you freaking kidding me? Plus 50 mobility. That's freaking huge! And you get a huge boost to ADS movement speed. It reduces the intensity of the movement speed penalty while ADS, so you move at 91% of the standard speed value instead of 75%, which is usually the ADS penalty. And that's a pretty sizable buff, right? He told me that you can get enhanced slide distance with the Peacekeepers and an SMG equipped, and increased sprint speed by 6.25%. And that's all just passive buffs from the Peacekeepers. I mean, that's freaking nuts. So thank you, Slick, for filling me in on those details. After hearing about those buffs and playing a few matches with the Peacekeepers, I was pretty hooked, right? I highly, highly recommend that you take the time to try this combo out. It's a match made in heaven. I had some absolutely crazy, massive matches today. I had so many 40 bombs. I had two matches where I was like a freaking wrecking ball, and I had over 40 kills, and it mercied with, you know, like 30 or more points left in the game. Like, if it had gone to time, if it had gone all the way to completion, it would have been 60, maybe even a 70 bump. It's freaking nuts. And this was on PS5, which has a super small and mega sweaty player base. I was really impressed. Ultimately, I really look forward to finding more gem combos like this in Destiny. I'm so dang pumped for these stasis changes that are coming next week so that we can get back to playing Destiny instead of Pretty Ice Princess. My preference would, honestly, this is no secret, I've said this a million times, my preference would just be to scrap stasis and PvP altogether. I believe that stasis is fundamentally at its base, qualities a bad fit for Destiny PvP. Not PvE, I don't care about PvE. Keep it in PvE, it's fun shattering stuff in PvE. That's super fine and cool. But I think it's fundamentally a bad fit for PvP in Destiny. I would prefer we scrap it all together. But obviously, that's never going to happen. I know that, right? I know that. So hopefully these changes are enough. I want movement and gunplay to be center stage again. And I love space magic. I do, as much as the next person. I love space magic. But not when it negates the value of your movement and gunplay. I love it when it complements those things and it supplements them well. But one should never overshadow the other, right? We've had both sides of that spectrum in Destiny. We've had it before where Destiny was too punishing. The space magic was too weak. The guns were too powerful. And your abilities were null and void, like they were pretty negligible. And then we've had it the other way, and that's where we have it right now with stasis. Your abilities just completely overshadow every freaking thing else. And so we need to find that middle ground. So here's to the future of our beloved game. I look forward to making more and more content for you all. And not just because I want to entertain people, but because I love the game, right? I want to play the game because I love the game, and I get tons of enjoyment out of it when it's at its best. So here's to hoping it'll be at its best next season. Or next week, rather. That'd be great. So thanks so much for watching my videos and supporting my channel. I really appreciate you all. Hopefully it's just all uphill from here in terms of PvP. We get these changes to drop next week. And then maybe beyond that, they can start focusing on really expanding the PvP experience. I feel like it's just been on the back burner for so long with no new maps and no new game modes. Trials has just been a freaking nightmare. I mean, how many times have they had to cancel? They can't secure the integrity of that game mode, and that seems to be a real challenge for them. So PvP has just been oof lately. So hopefully we can get these changes implemented and then start focusing on new content. That would be great, please. So just a heads up, I'll have a couple of sponsored videos in the next couple of weeks. So when you see those, feel free to just drag your finger across the screen. If those ads don't interest you, it will take you a lot less time to do that than it will take you to go down in the comments section and talk about how you hate me and my grandmother. Just drag your finger. It's a lot faster. It's much simpler. So So just a heads up on that. Be warm and well fed, my friends, and I hope to catch you in the Crucible.
That's why we have fire team. Double down. Yes.